And several brigadier generals reached out demanding some hot takes on the big news of the last couple of days here. And we're talking about Cam Newton, which has been the talk of the town in our little sports radio world. And I can't imagine how you could have missed this, but there always are a few people that suffer from amnesia. Cam Newton reaching a contractual agreement with the New England Patriots, if you've been in the dark somewhere. And this is the first time in NFL history that a quarterback who won an MVP award has replaced a quarterback who had won an MVP award, although there have been other examples in the past where teams have lost an MVP and gotten an MVP. So it's a bit of semantics here. And the conversation is about the dynamic, which is obvious, involving Bill Belichick and the Patriot way and Cam Newton, which certainly appear to be an oil and water situation when you combine those two entities, Cam Newton on one side and Bill Belichick on the other. So let us discuss the question, what are the chances that Cam Newton starts the season as the man for the Patriots? Now, we know he's getting the opportunity to be the man, but you can't guarantee he's going to be that man in 2020. So what are the odds? Now, I'm going to set the line at minus 150. All right, minus 150, which implies only a 60% chance that Cam Newton is right in the frying pan in Foxborough from Jump Street in New England. So I've got Woody Allen, Tidwell, and Crash Test. And we will lock all these things together. Let's see how quick on the trigger our staff is here. Roberto, number one. Number one. Very good. So New England, we know they're their own ecosystem. They get their own ecosystem going on with the Patriots. They've been that way for many, many years. And there have been a few players that have had a seamless transition to playing for the Patriots. Mostly the names that pop out are Rodney Harrison, who had spent a lot of time with the Chargers, another former San Diego Charger, Junior Seau. Randy Moss would be on the list of good acquisition players acquired by the Patriots. Seau and Moss in particular, amazing. Rodney Harrison had a good run, as I said. But there's a laundry list. There's a long list of guys who could not handle the Patriot way, in air quotes. That includes Steven Jackson, who was used and abused mostly by the St. Louis Rams, spent a little time at Atlanta, went to the Patriots. It was a hot mess. Reggie Wayne, who got paid $500,000 to go to training camp, and I don't think he even made it through training camp, the former Indianapolis Colt, who was a bustamundo with the Patriots. How about Chad Ochocinco? I love the idea of Chad Ochocinco with the Patriots until I actually saw Chad Ochocinco with the Patriots. How about Albert Hainsworth? Fat Albert, lived up to his name there with the Patriots. Michael Bennett's another one. We can go on and on. So which basket will Cam Newton fall into? That is the obvious question. That's the great mystery. There is no guarantee that this goes past training camp. Like, signed essentially, we've only got a day to go until the month of July here. So signed essentially around July 1st. And this could all be over by the end of August. Could all be over for Cam Newton. There's a 40% chance that this does not end up in harmony between Cam Newton and the Patriots. And they say, bye-bye, we'll get rid of you, bye-bye. And they'll kick his ass out, and he will not be the starting quarterback. And it's one of those, it's either his way or the highway, meaning if Cam Newton is not the starter, he is not going to be the cabana boy for Jarrett Stidham. He's not going to hold the clipboard. If they're not going to consummate the relationship, meaning starter, then he's going to get released at the end of training camp. So I'm going 40% chance that he doesn't even make the roster and they end up releasing him. 60% chance that he starts, so the odds are still in favor of Cam Newton starting for the New England Patriots. But we know he wants to be a starter. Everyone wants to be a starter. It's more fun to be a starter. Sucks being a backup. And the other thing you have to understand, he had no other options. I think it's pretty obvious now that all those rumors that were popping up from time to time about Team X being interested in Cam Newton, bunch of poppycock, right? Bunch of poppycock. And none of them are real. And he didn't have any other avenue to go down. The Patriots gig is, in theory, wide open. Now, Jarrett Stidham, who had been propped up by the media who cover the Patriots as the starter, and I bought into the hype. I still buy into the hype. But Bill Belichick clearly is having second thoughts about that, or someone above Bill Belichick is having second thoughts. But the stubborn as a mule, Coach Belichick, Jarrett Stidham still got to win the job. Now, it is no small task in the kingdom of curmudgeon, which is where the Patriots reside. This allows Cam Newton, he gets his foot in the door. But remember the old line, Woody Allen, he's credited with the quote that 90% of life is showing up. And that works both ways. It cuts both ways, right? It cuts for the Patriots in Cam Newton showing up, Jarrett Stidham also showing up. And some reports he's been out in Texas having a grand old time there, and that upset some people, ruffled some feathers with the Patriots, and one thing led to another. But in this particular case, like Cam Newton now, at least he's been given the key code to get into the Patriot facility. So he's got that in his back pocket. Now he's got to take advantage of the opportunity. Now, the second thing here, Cam Newton took a redonkulously small contract because this is simply a means to an end. That's why you take that deal. And it's not like he's a bridge over troubled waters, because he's got his own troubled waters considering the last couple of years in Carolina, and he has been trending the wrong direction. It's not like he just had an off injured season. It was going the wrong way. It was going the wrong speed in Carolina. And when you toss on top of everything else the reputation, right? Oh, the dreaded reputation, and then the injury history and all that, it's the perfect storm is what it is. It's the perfect storm. And we all know human beings are wired pretty much the same way. It doesn't matter your race or whatever. We all look out for ourselves, right? Everyone looks out for themselves. And Cam Newton is thinking that he is going to put the razzle-dazzle in the footsteps of Tom Brady, and he'll reestablish himself, and presto, here I am, look at me roar, I'm Cam Newton. Just like that, and he'll stick it to the Carolina Panthers and all that. It's going to be wonderful and sunshine and lollipops. He's going to be a supernova. Cam Newton, the supernova again in the NFL. And then you wake up, right? But before you wake up, the Patriots or some other team will quote Rod Tidwell from the iconic movie back in the day, show me the money, right? And they will show him the money. And he'll get paid a ton of cash, all because of this. But again, it's just a means to an end. That's all it is. And he is there from the Patriots' perspective. If he comes back and he's healthy and plays well, Cam Newton clearly is the option you would go with. There's a lot of ifs there. You don't bet on ifs. My experience is when you bet on ifs, you often look like a schmuck. You look like a schmuck when you bet on ifs. You do it all the time. But the Patriots look at this, like if he's great, wonderful, he gets to play, he's insurance, and at least this will motivate Jarrett Stidham. Giddy up, right? Giddy up for Jarrett Stidham. What if he ends up puking on the job? What if Jarrett Stidham can't play? I would play Stidham right away. That was what I would do, but clearly the Patriots feel differently, and now they have another avenue to go down. More importantly, just between you and I, it is not Brian Hoyer. You don't want to go down Brian Hoyer. That's a bad avenue to go down Brian Hoyer. Our final point.
Who?
It's going to be fascinating to see how this works out. And while I am at 60%, the reason I'm at 60% with Cam Newton being the starter for the Patriots is, as I've laid out to you, I do not believe that he's healthy. And I don't care how many sizzle reels he puts up on social media. I will believe it when I see it on the field. A square peg in a round hole is another way to describe this. And Cam Newton, because of the way that he played with a reckless abandon, has been a crash test dummy in his NFL career. He has been just annihilated by defensive players. And the numbers have been bad going back the last 18 games. So last year he only played a couple games. The year before that, I think he played 14. And so that goes back a good stretch of time. Cam Newton, 25 touchdowns, 18 interceptions over his last 18 regular season games. He has been an average to below average NFL quarterback in that stretch. His passer rating at 86. He's been sacked all over the place. The timing has been an issue. He's fumbled 11 times in the last 18 games. And those are the negative plays. And you don't need me to preach to you. You don't need me to preach to you. Belichick will crucify a quarterback that continues to have those negative plays. And they'll give Belichick an ulcer, which you might like and might enjoy watching. But as Michael Buffer would say, you've got Belichick over here. You got Cam Newton over here. And Michael Buffer would say, let's get ready to rumble. Because get your popcorn ready. From a strategical standpoint, the Patriots would be better off going with Jarrett Stidham long-term, assuming he can play. That's a big assumption to make. It's a big if. We all know quarterbacks on a rookie contract are worth their weight in gold. It's not even up for debate. Worth their weight in gold. The risk with playing Cam Newton is that you have short-term success and long-term agony. Meaning, what if Cam Newton goes out and actually plays well and has an epiphany, and the Patriots figure things out on offense, and he plays great, and he's better than Tom Brady is in Tampa, rather? Then the pressure is to overpay after one bounce-back season for Cam Newton. But the Patriots don't normally operate like that. So then Cam Newton would leave as a free agent, and you would get a draft pick as compensation. Now, ideally, the plan would be for Stidham to beat out Newton, either to start the season or by some arbitrary marker, say week 7 or week 8 of the regular season. And then going forward, the Patriots would be set for the next couple of years because Jarrett Stidham, cheap, and he's not going to be a free agent again and get all this more money on top of money and all that.